This is England, a small country tucked into the United Kingdom. Wales to the west, Scotland to the north, the Irish Sea to one side, the Celtic Sea to the other. Looks ordinary enough, but this quiet little corner of the world is one of the oldest, strangest, most geologically insane places on Earth, and almost nobody talks about it. Here are 30 facts to prove it. Starting from fact number 30, let's start with a thing nobody expects. There's a plant that grows on one English island and nowhere else in the world with its own unique beetle. The Lundy cabbage grows only on Lundy out in the Bristol Channel, and it supports a beetle found on that plant, on that island, and nowhere else. An entire tiny ecosystem in one spot. It's hidden because it's a scruffy cliff plant on a remote island. Only botanists give it a second look, but I love that England still has corners like this. A whole little world that exists in one place and nowhere else. Fact 29. England is home to most of the world's chalk streams. There are fewer than 300 of these rivers on the entire planet, and around 85% of them are in England. They only form where rainwater filters down through chalk bedrock and comes back up crystal clear and cool all year round. Fact 28. The oldest human footprints outside Africa were found on an English beach. At Happisburgh in Norfolk, people walked across estuary mud around 900,000 years ago and left their footprints, the oldest ever found anywhere beyond Africa. The sea exposed them in 2013 and washed them away within weeks. Real people walking on a beach almost 1 million years before us. The sea showed us their footsteps for a moment, then quietly took them back. Fact 27. Morecambe Bay on England's northwest coast is famous for one thing above everything else: the tide. The bay is so flat, so wide, and so shallow that when the water comes in, it races. Locals say it moves faster than a galloping horse. Fact 26. The hottest temperature ever recorded in the UK happened on the 19th of July, 2022 at Coningsby in Lincolnshire, 40.3 degrees Celsius. And, you know, it wasn't just one station having a strange day. 46 stations broke the old record on the same day. Roads buckled, train tracks warped. England had no infrastructure built for it because until that afternoon, nobody had seriously planned for it. If you were in England that day, you remember it. Fact 25. From the highest to the lowest, Holme Fen in Cambridgeshire sits about 2.75 meters below sea level, making it the lowest dry land in Britain. But the insane part is that in 1851, someone actually drove an iron post into the ground to measure how much the land was sinking because of peat drainage. Today that post sticks up nearly 4 meters in the air. Stand beside it, and it's honestly a strange, quiet feeling. A single iron post patiently measuring the ground sinking away beneath everyone's feet. Fact 24. There's a gemstone found in exactly one hill on the entire planet, and it's in Derbyshire. Blue John, a banded purple and yellow stone that's been prized for centuries, is mined in commercial quantities in just one place on Earth, a single hill above Castleton. Most people, you know, associate rare gems with exotic places like Madagascar or Myanmar. Having a globally unique mineral inside a single English hill is just an incredible geological quirk. Fact 23, here's a fact for movie lovers. England's south coast has those brilliant white cliffs made of chalk, and chalk is actually the crushed skeletons of trillions of microscopic sea creatures that lived when this land was under a warm tropical ocean. So every white cliff you've seen in a film is literally a graveyard of plankton pressed solid and lifted up on display. Fact 22. Now we go underground to Cheddar Gorge in Somerset, the biggest gorge in Britain. And in 1903, workers digging a drainage ditch in a cave there uncovered a complete human skeleton, Cheddar Man, around 10,000 years old, the oldest found in Britain. Fact 21. Stay in Somerset because just up the road is Wookey Hole, a series of limestone caverns carved out over thousands of years by an underground river slowly dissolving the rock, used by people for around 45,000 years, leaving Stone Age tools behind in the dark, and the temperature inside stays a steady 11 degrees all year round, so consistently that they actually matured cheddar cheese down there. Fact 20. Down in Dorset, there's a stretch called the Jurassic Coast, about 95 miles long, the only place on Earth where you can walk past 185 million years of geological history, laid out in order like pages in a book, starting in desert worlds, moving through dinosaur seas, and ending in chalk oceans all on one coastline. Fact 19. And on that exact coast in the early 1800s, a young girl changed science forever. Mary Anning dug the first complete ichthyosaur out of those cliffs at about 12. Later, the first complete plesiosaur, giant sea reptiles nobody even believed existed, barred from scientific societies while she was alive, now remembered as one of the most important fossil hunters in history, a girl the world refused to let into the room, who ended up rewriting that room entirely. So, here's an interesting fact. England's geology is basically, well, tilted. As you move northwest, the rocks actually get older, and if you head southeast, they get younger. There's even this invisible line that geologists draw across the country, which kind of splits the old, hard, high ground of the northwest from the young, soft, low ground of the southeast. It's almost like England is a book lying on a slope, with the oldest pages tucked away in one corner and the newest in the other. Off the coast of Northumberland, you'll find the Farne Islands, just a scatter of rocks really, but every summer they turn into a bustling seabird city. We're talking tens of thousands of puffins, terns, and seals all packed onto bare stone. And you know, it was right here, back in 1838, that a lighthouse keeper's daughter named Grace Darling braved a storm to rescue shipwreck survivors, becoming one of Britain's very first national heroines. Fact 16, the first dinosaur ever named was English, and actually the word dinosaur was invented here. Megalosaurus was described from an Oxford quarry in 1824, which was decades before the word itself even existed. Dinosaur as a term was actually coined in England in 1842. Now, when most people think of massive land dinosaurs, they picture the sweeping badlands of North America. But the fact that the very first apex land predator was found in a sleepy, landlocked Cotswold quarry near Oxford is just a brilliant piece of historical trivia that, honestly, most people completely miss. Fact 15, there's a sandbank off Kent that swallows ships, and believe it or not, people have actually played cricket on it. The Goodwin Sands have wrecked over 2,000 ships, yet, at low tide, the sand sets so hard that, for centuries, people have ridden out to play cricket matches on a sandbank right in the middle of the sea. Playing cricket here is highly dangerous because the tide returns with terrifying speed. In 2006, a BBC crew filming a match had to be dramatically rescued by lifeboats and a helicopter as the sea swallowed the pitch in minutes. It's one of those places where even the ground itself doesn't stay still. Okay, we're halfway. 15 down, 15 to go. And from here, things get older, weirder, and honestly, a lot more violent. You know what the comment section is for. Fact 14. Time to get loud. On the River Severn, there's a phenomenon called the Severn Bore. The Severn estuary has the second highest tidal range in the entire world, with the water rising as much as 15 meters. And when that incoming tide gets funneled into the narrowing river, it forms a single wave that rolls upstream against the current for over 25 miles. And, yeah, surfers chase it inland. It shouldn't work, but it does. Fact 13. Let's go north to the Pennines, the backbone of England. A long spine of hills down the middle of the north, lifted and folded out of rocks formed when central England sat under warm tropical seas. The high point, Crossfell, reaches 893 meters and it has its own wind, a cold, vicious thing called the Helm wind, the only named wind in Britain. Fact 12. Here's a strange one. At the very southern tip of England, the Lizard Peninsula in Cornwall, the ground is made of rock that has no business being on dry land at all. It's serpentinite, a green and red stone that normally sits deep beneath the ocean floor, part of the Earth's mantle, and a slow-motion collision of continents hundreds of millions of years ago shoved a slab of ancient seabed up into the daylight. So now, you can walk across a piece of the planet's interior, polished by the waves into something that looks like snakeskin. You're literally standing on the inside of the planet. Fact 11, now into the deep past to Charnwood Forest in Leicestershire, home to some of the oldest rocks in England, around 600 million years old from the Precambrian. For over a century, scientists thought rock that old couldn't hold fossils. Then, in 1957, a schoolboy spotted a strange, leaf-like impression, a creature now called Charnia, around 560 million years old, one of the oldest complex life forms ever found. Fact 10, and we're heading back to the Lake District for a record that really surprises people. England's deepest lake is wastewater, and it plunges about 79 meters straight down. Its bed actually sits well below sea level, even though the surface is up in the mountains. The water is brutally cold, strangely clear, and so low in oxygen that things barely decay down there. It's a lake so deep and still, it's basically a flooded canyon hiding in the hills. Fact 9, let's talk borders because England's are, well, tiny. England shares a land border with only two places. Scotland, which is about 154 kilometers, and Wales, which is about 257. Everything else is just coast. The entire land frontier of England is actually shorter than a single afternoon's drive up a motorway. Fact 8. The Norfolk Broads look ancient and natural, but people actually dug them. The whole network of lakes is totally man-made. Back in medieval times, people cut out like millions of tons of peat for fuel. The pits eventually flooded as sea levels rose, and what you see today is now a national park. The landscape healed up so perfectly that for centuries, everyone just assumed it was natural, until in 1952, botanist Dr. Joyce Lambert proved it was man-made by showing the underwater sides were straight and vertical, carved by human shovels. Fact 7. England has almost no truly wild large predators left, but it does have a secret giant underwater, the Wells catfish. Introduced from Europe, it's now the largest freshwater fish in the country, and the British record is over 150 pounds caught in Essex, heavier than most grown adults. These catfish just sit on the bottom in the dark, swallowing prey whole, and they keep growing for decades. So, the land might have lost its big beasts, but England actually grew its own monster underwater. Fact 6. Down at the far southwest tip of England, in Cornwall, the granite holds something the rest of Britain doesn't: tin. People have been pulling it out of this ground for around 4,000 years, all the way back to the Bronze Age. And Cornwall and Devon were basically Britain's only native source of tin. Traders carried it across the ancient world to the Mediterranean thousands of years before England was even a country. Those ruined engine houses on the cliffs? They're now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Fact 5. England's largest natural lake is Windermere in the Lake District, about 14.7 square kilometers. It's long and narrow, winding through the hills, and those lakes were actually gouged out by glaciers during the last ice age. Sheets of ice grinding down the valleys, then melting and filling them. Every famous lake here is a scar left by ice that vanished over 11,000 years ago. The most peaceful scenery in England is the wreckage of an ice age. Fact 4. Right at the very top of England sits a town that spent hundreds of years unsure which country it belonged to: Berwick-upon-Tweed. England and Scotland both wanted it, so they kept snatching it from each other, about 13 times, until England kept it for good in 1482. But why fight so hard over one small town? Well, because of where it sits, right where the border meets the sea, the last piece of England before the North Sea, like a gate. And whoever held the gate controlled the way in. Now here's the strange part. Stand in Berwick today and you're closer to Norway than to Cornwall, way down at the other end of England, because England is so long and thin that reaching Cornwall means crossing nearly the whole country, about 680 kilometers, while Norway is just a short hop across a narrow sea, around 580. Fact 3. Now think about what England is built on. Beneath the Midlands and the north sit some of the richest coal seams in the world, coal that's fossilized swamp forest from over 300 million years ago, when this land sat near the equator under steaming jungle. The first industrial nation on Earth ran on a buried tropical forest, the modern world kick-started by ancient swamp. Fact 2. England has a herd of wild cattle that hasn't mixed with any other for 700 years. The Chillingham cattle in Northumberland have been sealed off and breeding only among themselves for around 7 centuries. Wild, white, and genetically unlike any other cattle on Earth. The herd lives entirely inside a private walled parkland estate. Unless you intentionally seek out a guided tour with a park warden, you will never see them. And finally, fact 1. The map that changed the world was made by one Englishman in 1815. He wasn't a rich scientist. William Smith was a canal surveyor who worked down mines and ditches. There he noticed the rock layers always came in the same order, each with its own fossils, so you could tell what lay buried far below just by reading the ground. And he turned that into the first geological map of a whole country, the foundation of modern geology, and the reason we still find coal, water, and oil today. But richer men copied his work and took the credit. Smith went bankrupt, even landing in prison for his debts, and was only honored as the father of English geology near the end of his life. A quietly world-changing achievement by a working man who was cheated out of the fame, and there's no grand monument to point people to it. He handed us the ground beneath our feet and got a prison cell in return. So, the least we can do is remember his name, William Smith. And that's England, 30 facts deep, and we've barely scratched the surface. For every fact on this list, there are 100 more buried in the cliffs, caves, coastlines, and quiet little villages that never make it into the textbooks. So, here's a challenge for you. I gave you 30 facts, but there might be one hiding right where you live that beats every single one. The kind of thing only locals know and nobody outside ever hears about. So, prove it. Drop it in the comments. And until the next one, take care of yourself and God bless you all.